students, 18 of you answered it, so that was really excellent. It says, what are the steps to find the sine, cosine, and tangent of an angle sketched in standard position that passes through the point 2, 1? So I was really looking for an explanation on how you would solve this. All right, some people just kind of wrote down, you know, sine, cosine, tangent, and that was that. But if you look at Richard's response, it was actually really good. So just to visualize, this is your angle, boom, boom. You know two sides. You know that this side, it's 2 of the triangle would be 2, and you know the vertical side would be 1. So a lot of people wrote down something to the effect of, okay, the answer for 1, I know that 2 squared plus 1 squared is equal to r squared. Okay. Or we know 2 squared plus 1 squared is 5, where 5 equals r squared. Okay, this tells me that r is the square root of 5. Okay, and you might have figured out what the square root of 5 is. All right, so if I go to my calculator, this is fancy. Okay, so square root of 5, is that how you do it? I don't know how to use this calculator. 5 square root 2.236, okay? 2.236, so that's what we get. So 5, okay? So r, so we could say the r is this number, okay? So if I'm trying to figure out my sine, cosine, and tangent, okay, I know my x is 2. Let's label this. Not with that. I know my x is 2 and my y is 1, okay? So if I'm going to go kind of write these out, and I'm going to type them in just because that's how you do it. So I'd have my cosine of my angle, okay? I'm going to put in a space for that. This is actually very important. Is equal to x over r. So that's 2 over 2.236, okay? The sine of my angle is equal to my radius 1 over 2.236, and the tangent, scroll this down a little bit, the tangent of my angle is equal to y over x, 1 over 2. Y over x. This is kind of what I was expecting you guys to write for your discussion board. Keeping in mind it was only a discussion board, so if you answered this question with anything other than I don't know, I gave you the point for it. Even if you just said cosine, like some people just wrote cosine is x over r, sine is y over r, and tangent is y over x, I still gave you full points because it was just a discussion. All right, the next part of the problem was here where you were going to fill in the blank. All right, and just talk about this table and what's happening. So from 0 to 90 degrees, we notice that the numbers are going down. They go from 1 to 0, so that would be decreasing for our first answer. From 0 to 90 degrees, sine is going from 0 to 1, so it will be increasing. And then from 0 to 90, tangent is increasing and then undefined. Okay, so most everyone did a pretty nice job with that second part of the problem. All right, let me check back in the chat box and see if we have any. All right, so this was your second assignment for the week. All right, and just to kind of go through what I expected. So the problem, the terminal side of an angle in standard position contains this 0.47. It says select insert drawing plus new from the top menu. So we're going to do this insert drawing, new, and let's draw this. So let's just keep in mind that was the 0.47. So that's important in our drawing, right? So let's just draw this. So a lot of people did a pretty nice job of setting up an axis, right? And then this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and that is where your point would be at 4, 7. So like right here, you have a point. Okay. Yeah. Can I just like make a little, like you would have a little point right here. How do I make like a shape? I want to shape a circle, like a little circle. Ooh, let's make a circle. There we go. Okay. And let's fill it in. Let's make it black. Okay, so we'd have a circle in there. All right, we'd have our lines. Let me go back to my line tool right here. Let's just make a line. And so our line maybe looks like this. Okay, and I want to make that like extra dark. And then here, like that, just to draw my shape. And you can see we kind of have our triangle here. This week we're going to be looking like very specifically at triangles. So this looks like, now the only thing I wish I could do with this is use an eraser. Wouldn't that be cool? All right. So let's say save and close. So the first is select insert drawing, draw a sketch of the angle. Boom. There it is. Okay. That's how you would draw the angle. Find sine, cosine, and tangent. You will need the decimal version to answer part C. So on our angle, if we have a 4 down here and a 7 up here, all right, that's what we'd have to use. So this is where I think you'd really need to use your pencil and paper. All right, you wouldn't really, maybe not want to type all this in because it would be so much extra to do. Undo that. Okay. But you would want to have drawn this down, and you know this is 7 and this is 4. So you want to find your missing side. So you have 4 squared plus 7 squared is equal to your r squared. Okay, so 4 and 7, so it says 16 plus 49 equals r squared. Okay, so what's this? 57? Yeah, 57 is equal to r squared. All right, we'll go with it, right? No, that's not right. It's 55. Let's see this, right? This is all these memes about this, parents doing homeschool math, right? 5, carry the 1, 65. There we go, 65. So 65 is equal to r squared. So r is equal to, you know, whatever the square root of 65 is, okay? So if I still have my calculator out, I can look at that up. So let's clear this out, clear it out, clear it out, clear it out, clear it out. Okay. So we get 8.06 if I'm doing it right. One of you will tell me if I'm not. So far, no one's telling me I'm not, so I'm going to assume I'm right here so far with all my math. So 8.06, okay? So that would be our radius, okay? 8.0, let's just paste it, is equal to our radius. So now we want to find our sine, cosine, and tangent of all these. Okay, so let's just kind of type them out. So we have our sine. Now let's pay attention to this. Sine of our angle. So I'm actually going to put that little symbol in there if I can. Little symbol, little theta, because that's important. Okay, done. So sine, and you got to pay attention to this because sine means one thing and cosine means another. Sine, cosine, and then we have our tangent. So sine is going to be our x over our y, our OA, our opposite. If this is our angle right here, this is our angle. It's our opposite side over our hypotenuse side. Okay, our OA, our y, or our y over our radius. Okay, because we have sine, so gatoa, sine. So opposite over the radius, so 7 over 8.062. Okay, our cosine is our x. Our cosine is our x. Our adjacent, our next to, here's our angle here, adjacent side, next to adjacent side over hypotenuse, or x over r, so it would be 4 over 8.062. You know what? I think we haven't talked about this yet. So ignore this OA and so stuff. You'll get it. You'll get it if you watch the videos for this week. And then tangent is our y over x. Okay, our y over x. So in this problem, our y over x would be, let's see, 7 over 4. 7 over 4. Okay, so let's just do some math on this to figure out what each of these things are, and let's write out the answer. So let's clear this out. So the first thing we have 7 divide 8.062. Okay, 0.868. Let's type that in, 0.868. Okay. Let's put that in there. 0.868. All right, cosine. Cosine is where we get, so let's clear it out, clear it out, clear it out. 4 divided by 8.062. Okay. 4 divided by 8.6, 0.49, so we get that. 0.4961, and then our tangent would be 7 over 4. 7 divided by 4, 1.75. Let's type that in. Nope, undo that. Not what I wanted. Okay, so the next part of this is asking us to look at the table and figure out what is that angle, right? That's what it's asking us to do. So these are our answers we just got. All right, we got 0.86, 0.49. Man, let's recopy that because that did not do what I wanted to do. Okay, it's going to be noisy. Give me a second. Okay, and then look at our table. So let's go to the table I gave you guys. Oh, I don't want that showing. No, not this, not this, not this. Right here, this table I showed you guys. Here it is, boom. Okay, and let's just kind of estimate where we're at. And hopefully we did it right and we can kind of see, let's say current page, what we have. So we want to look and see where is the tangent, where is our sine about equal to 0.86, okay? So this is where, you know, 0.8, 868, 867, maybe like around here, okay? And about this. So I would say between 61 and then 0.87 is a little more, 0.48. Yeah, you know, it's somewhere, I would say it's between 60 and 61 degrees. It's going to be a decimal. We can estimate, okay, we can estimate that it's between 60 and 61 degrees. Now, not this week, but next week, you're going to be learning about angles, finding missing angles, and you're going to figure out that it's like, this is super easy to do. You don't even have to do all this math looking at tables. You actually just hit a button on your calculator and boom, you get your answer. But that's not this week, that's next week. So stay tuned for it.